everybody, my name is Nicole, and today I'm going to be walking you through rebranding and some keys to an effective rebrand strategy. So you may be asking yourself, why should I rebrand? I have this great brand, I love everything about it, why do I need to change? Well, there are some important reasons on why rebranding can be extremely beneficial to you and your brand. You may want to update your brand mission or vision, say some things have changed down the line and your current brand just isn't really speaking to your new vision and you really want that to be aligned. You also may need to communicate better to your audience who your brand is. So if you're a brand and you're finding that the people responding to you and your content and your assets that you're putting out there aren't what you're looking for, it's possible that your audience is not understanding what you're trying to convey through your messaging and brand voice. Something that goes along with that is, say your old audience understood, but you're trying to appeal to new markets, and maybe your new audience isn't really responding well to your current logo. So say you were a law firm and your logo is a little bit old-fashioned, serif font, some muted colors, but you're trying to get different clientele that are new and younger for a new practice that you're starting. Well, if you try to show the outdated logo to your audience, chances are they might not respond well. So if you modernize that with a sans serif font, some brighter colors, something that appeals to your new audience, you'll get better feedback. And again, that kind of goes with updating your visuals. Something really important is when you update your visuals, you want to be consistent across all areas. So if you update your website, you're going to want to update your print, your business cards, all your social profiles. Everything needs to be consistent in order for a rebrand or any brand in general to really be effective. So that's another reason too that some people choose to rebrand, because all over the place there's different images of who their brand and their company really is. And it's very important to be consistent, especially in the times we're in now. Digital and print and all consistency is very important in conveying your image. So another reason is growth and opportunities. Say your company started out small and the brand that you had in the beginning was working really well for you guys. But then you grew and you're expecting more, your clients are expecting more, and you need to look more put together than you did in the past. The logo that you threw together really quickly may not be serving for you anymore. So a rebrand can help solve those issues. So one of my favorite topics is coffee, and I'm going to get to talk to you guys about that today through the rebrand example of Dunkin' Donuts. You probably remember this. Back in January 2019, Dunkin' Donuts rebranded from Dunkin' Donuts to just Dunkin'. So this was huge, definitely something big for a company that's been around forever and has a really strong presence on media, everywhere. I mean, pretty much any corner you stop on, there's a Dunkin' or like in a couple feet of that. So rebranding something that major is huge. On Dunkin's news, they talked about how updating their branding was just a part of the company's journey to really achieve this new vision. They wanted to be a beverage first company and an on-the-go brand. So in order to kind of move away from the stigma of donuts and Dunkin' Donuts, they had to remove the donuts. So sure, they still are the same company, they still have the donuts, it's still time for them to make the donuts, but now the focus is on coffee, something that the newer audience is definitely more interested in. Not only are they more on the go, and coffee shops like Starbucks being on every corner in the city allows Dunkin' to kind of compete with that. Additionally, the younger generation, I think, is a little bit more health conscious in some areas. So thinking of somewhere as a donut place only really doesn't get them as far and as wide with that audience as if they were coffee-based or drink-based and just kind of took that little hint of donut and removed it from their brand. Because people don't realize, but when you see a brand, it really sticks in your head. And if you're seeing donuts, 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 you automatically associate Dunkin' with the donuts. So instead of just being Dunkin' Donuts, let's just be Dunkin', not tie ourselves to anything. So they did something really important in a rebrand is still keeping some of your old brand for brand recognition. You can see that they kept their original colors of the pink and orange. So that way, since they're still sticking to their roots, the Dunkin' is still recognizable. But yeah, they also discussed how their effort was to modernize Dunkin' Donuts. So that's something we talked about a little bit in the beginning of this presentation, trying to reach that new audience, keep up with everything, and allowing for some innovation in your brand sometimes calls for a bit of modernization. So here you can see an example of their logo before and their logo after. This was taken from their press release in the news, but you can see how the logo is very similar. They did change the font slightly to be a little bit more rounded, which is updated. And you can see the orange takes over most of the logo, and there's a little hint of pink. So they did some examples of showing it on advertising. You can see the graphics are very bold. They're focusing more on what their audience wants to see. I mean, you can't go on social media or on even Etsy and see something when you're looking for coffee and not see a coffee with a donut on the top by the straw on the cup. And Dunkin' played a really huge role in making that part of their new symbol. So you can see on the packaging too, they have some different layouts of their logo. I really like this. It shows that they make their logo short and simple, and it's very adaptable, and really brands that new image they have. So again, just call us Dunkin'. It's working out really well for them. I'm sure you guys know. I mean, I think of Dunkin' for coffee now. I love Dunkin' coffee, and if I need a coffee fix and I need it fast, I'll think of Dunkin'. So you can see their supportive media kind of took everything that they were communicating and really supported that, strengthened that, and they kind of played off of that. So it's important to acknowledge your rebrand and support your rebrand while you're going through it. So some key points to remember if you're thinking about a rebrand is it's important to refresh your brand, even small elements of it and not the whole thing, every few years to stay current. You don't want to fall off. You want to stay hot and on the tip of everybody's tongue. So it's important to make sure your brand image is kept up with the times. You also may want to appeal to a new audience. A great way of doing this is tailoring your messaging and brand voice and visual appearance to that new audience you're trying to reach. Again, sharing your brand value with your audience is huge. If you want someone to be a brand ambassador for you, you're going to need to appeal to that group of people. No one's going to talk about you and your brand in a positive light if they don't like the way that it visually appears. And again, your brand is so strongly communicated in times like these through social media now. I mean, you can't go on anything and not be hit with an ad, even if you are just scrolling. And if your brand isn't speaking the right way, let alone going on your profile, your audience sees your communication everywhere now. So it's really important. I mean, for brand value and brand ambassador, Dunkin' really took advantage of TikTok too, and they have the Charlie, which is Charlie's drink order. And I think speaking to that new brand really brought in a whole slew of a new audience that is younger, and they resonate with that. So yeah, definitely keep this in mind and be sure to stay current. If you're thinking about a rebrand and you want some help, definitely reach out to us. Again, my name is Nicole and I'm lead designer at SEM Geeks. So have a great day and hope to speak to you soon.